All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I want to make a follow-up video to the finals recap because I find this extremely interesting. So for the FIBO Pro this weekend, obviously Andrew Jacked won, Sas Heirati in second, and Sergio Oliva Jr. in third. But the scorecards were just posted, and the scorecards are extremely interesting. Sas Heirati, this is a really big swing between prejudging and finals. And this is kind of what I meant when I said in the recap video, I said I felt like Sas was more ahead of Andrew Jacked from a conditioning standpoint than he was of William Bonac back in Detroit. And the scorecards actually reflect that, and this is very interesting because Sas was winning prejudging. So Andrew Jacked had a score of 5, Sas had a score of 4. And if you guys don't know how bodybuilding works, I'm sure most of you do at this point, the lower score is the better score because your score is representative of the placing that the judges have you. So if the judges have you in first, you'd have the lowest score because they're all giving you 1 point. So 4 to 5 at prejudging, and then it swung to finals 3 to 6 in favor of Andrew Jacked. So unanimous victory at finals for Andrew. So that means all the judges thought Andrew won at finals, but most of the judges thought Sas won at prejudging, and then it was 3 to 6, Andrew to Sas at finals. So the total score, not a 1-point decision, but a 2-point decision, 8 to 10 in favor of Andrew Jacked. So not a unanimous victory. And if you go over and you look at the scorecards from Detroit, that's not what you see. You see unanimous victory for Bonac in prejudging, unanimous victory for Bonac at finals, 3 at prejudging, 3 at finals, essentially a perfect win. So this is interesting because this means Andrew Jacked was really off. At first I thought maybe it's just because we don't have an actual live stream. We're just looking at pictures on Instagram. We're looking at videos on Instagram. But to me, his conditioning didn't look good. And apparently in person, the judges thought so too, because the interesting thing about this is Andrew beat Bonac at the Olympia. Andrew beat Bonac at the Arnold. So on paper, recently, Andrew Jacked is the better bodybuilder than Bonac. But Bonac beat Sas unanimously. And I would argue that Sas was even tighter in Detroit than he was at this FIBO show. So for Sas to beat Andrew, who on paper is the better bodybuilder than Bonac, at least recently, that means that Andrew was really off at prejudging. Now, if you put the videos side by side, so the video on the left would be Andrew Jacked at prejudging, and the video on the right would be Andrew Jacked at finals. I do think there's a difference in his conditioning between these two videos. But if you were thinking that this was very close, or if you were thinking that Sas should have won this show, your opinion is validated here by these scorecards, because that's major. That's really big for Sas Heirati to beat a top 3 guy at the Arnold, a top 6 guy at the Olympia. That's really big for Sas and really bad for Andrew Jacked. And I think it's a good thing overall because, like I said in the finals recap, I don't think this version of Andrew Jacked is going to cut it against Arnold Classic caliber lineups, against Pittsburgh Pro caliber lineups, against Olympia caliber lineups. Like, obviously, the appeal to Andrew and his physique is this crazy, like, 3D look to his physique. He's got, like, people describe it as like a superhero physique, just round, full, a ton of muscle, just a crazy, the way his muscle pops, like his abs, his shoulders, his chest, all of it, that's the appeal to his physique. But I feel like every time we see Andrew take the stage, at least recently, I'm not like blown away by his condition. It's like the same thing over and over and over again. It's the same flaws in his physique, and I think it's especially noticeable in the lower body from the back. But I mean, even watching these videos, and I was looking at some of the pictures too, and that's why I thought, maybe it's just because we didn't get a live stream and see, an HD video of it. But some of the pictures, even in the upper body, Andrew is kind of lacking that detail in the chest, that detail in the shoulders, especially in the prejudging. So I think where I would give it to Andrew is just the muscle difference overall. He just got so much more muscle than Sas. And it's not just a he's taller thing. He just got a ton of muscle compared to Sas. So like Sas versus Bonac, they're like a similar stature. They both got a similar amount of muscle. I would say Bonac has more. But with Andrew versus Sas, I think the amount of muscle difference is a lot greater. But I think this is really interesting. These scorecards, having Sas winning at prejudging is fascinating. And like I said, huge for Sas, really bad for Andrew. And I kind of wonder, like I said in the other video, if Andrew is gearing up for another show and this was like his warm-up show and maybe he didn't take it as seriously in the sense that, you know, he's saving his true peak for something else, maybe Pittsburgh, maybe something else. But it kind of felt like the Good Veto thing, do a random show, not necessarily random, but like do a show that's not as deep, not as competitive, get that Olympia qualification so I don't have to worry about it, and then maybe save my real peak for something else. At least I'm hoping that's what this was. Because if this was Andrew's real peak, it's not good. But the fact that he was added to this lineup last minute, he didn't talk about prepping for this show at all, I kind of feel like it was a last-minute decision, something that maybe he hadn't been prepping for this whole time. Because it was literally like 4 days before that we found out Andrew was even doing the show. So maybe it was something that he didn't do a full prep for, he jumped in last minute, and maybe that's why we did see this lackluster conditioned version of Andrew. But I think if you're a conditioning fan and that's what you wanted to see from this show, your opinion was certainly validated in these scorecards here, because that's pretty huge. But what the interesting thing to me, in addition to Sas beating him at prejudging, is the point swing from prejudging to finals. I mean, if you wanted to make an argument that the judging here was off, that's a really big swing. And yeah, Andrew looked tighter at finals, but that swing is big. So if you're a conspiracy theory-minded person, I would look at Andrew Jack losing prejudging to unanimously winning finals as kind of an interesting scoring swing. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. This is certainly an interesting result, certainly interesting to see these scores, but I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification icon if you have not already. And as always, I love you guys, appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.